Okay, so today we'll see about something called as Lambda. So what Lambda is it's a serverless computing. So what Amazon does is like they give us a code running feature, so we could script up something, okay, using Python or Java, and they would just take the cost for running the code alone on their platform. So you wouldn't be given access to their operating system or a platform as such. So rather what you need to do is just upload your code there and the code alone would run for you. So the code would get triggered in many different forms. You could have, for example, like you could have a photo or something. So this is one of the example which is commonly cited. Okay, so you could have a photo, one of your photos uploaded onto S3 bucket. So the S3 bucket would act as the very fact of uploading that particular action would act as a trigger for the Lambda to run some kind of a Python code or something to generate a thumbnail out of the photo which you have uploaded onto S3. Okay, you get what I'm saying, right? So and it puts it in the appropriate places. So say even on YouTube, right? So when we upload a video, you see a small thumbnail which appears right on top of your video. So that should be some kind of a thumbnail kind of a generator or something. Something of that sort is what Lambda would help us to do. It's not just with respect to thumbnail. You can do a lot more things with Lambda itself. So without further ado, let's jump inside Lambda. So I can either click Lambda here, or I can go to services and under compute I see Lambda, right? So I click on Lambda there. So once I click on Lambda, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on function, create a function, because that's a function which is going to run. So to keep it very simple, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for a pre-built hello world kind of a function there. Okay, hello world hyphen py Python. Okay, and I'm going to search. So I can either choose the Hello World Python, which runs off Python interpreter 2.7 or Python version 3.6. So let's stick on with the older version for now. So here it says add a trigger. So if I right click on that, oh sorry, if I left click on that, it says from where do I want the trigger to be in. It can either be a trigger from Alexa or a CloudFront or DynamoDB, Kinesis, S3, SNS, what have you, right? So I'm not going to add a trigger here because I'm going to launch it manually, because we need to get the hang of it initially before we go ahead and read about other things, right? So let's click on next over here. So it's asking what's my function name going to be, right? So for function name, we can give anything. So I'm going to just name it as hello world, okay, in Python. So it's a starter Lambda function. I'm going to leave it just there. Then description about this particular code, and what's the runtime which I'm going to use. So these are the things which they currently support. They support C Sharp, Java version 8, Node.js, and they also support Python, right? Then here is where we literally type the code out. Okay, so this code is already pre-populated. Actually speaking, we don't require these two lines of code, so I'm going to just comment them out. All right, so what this code is going to do is I'm going to give in some value. Okay, it's going to just take in that key 1 and it's going to return that key 1, print out that key 1 alone. So that's what it's going to do, this particular code. So I'm not going to enable encryption, or neither am I going to give a key value pair over here. Okay, if I go down here, you see something called handler, right? So when this gets invoked, where should we start functioning the thing from? So Lambda function is going to start at Lambda handler. So where is this Lambda handler present? Lambda handler is present here. Okay, if I want to, right, I can go ahead and change this. So what can I say over here is Lambda handler, control Z, would it change? Yes. So I can additionally say Lambda handler training. right? Now come down and ensure that you have that underscore training here. So it's basically like calling the particular function. So in Python, function starts with the name of def, and it's a indentation based coding language. Python is an indentation based coding language, so you have to be cognizant of that. Then for role, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new role, okay, and this role is going to be just a basic execution kind of a role. So basic execution role is going to be lambda, lambda underscore basic underscore execute execution, right? uh, then under tags I'm not going to give anything. If needed we can populate with a key value pair over there, and under the advanced settings I can say how much memory do I need to allocate for this particular uh, code, which is 128 MB, and the timeout is 3 seconds. If the code doesn't finish off in 3 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and kill this particular code from running. So I'm going to click on next. So it's asking, do I want to create it? Yes, create that function by all means. So on the same note, while we are there, right, so this is Lambda's pricing model. So Lambda is going to be a free tier for 1 million free requests per month, okay, and it's zero point 0.2 cents per 1 million requests after that, right, thereafter. um, then there was something, yeah. So if you see this memory and the seconds per month, so the value keeps on increasing. So the more memory we allocate and the more time we allow it to run, right, the pricing increases. But when I tried converting this particular value uh, into INR, right, it came close to nothing. So it's really cheap. Okay, so now that this particular code is run, it's not run, sorry, this particular function is created, right? So what we can do is we can go inside the configuration to see what's there. So this is just whatever we saw over there. So if at all we find that the code is not running because memory is not enough, we can go ahead and adjust the timing components. Not too sure if the memory is adjustable because the memory is, yeah, it is adjustable. Okay, perfect. I thought it was grayed out. Then triggers. I'm going to manually trigger it over here, so I'm not going to keep a trigger. So under monitoring, I can see when and how this particular thing got triggered. Okay. So for now, this is showing the last 24 hours of triggers. So I had already started playing with this. So you see some amount of logs which already got generated. Now what I'm going to do is go under code, go under action, and configure test event. Okay, so there is something called key one. So what I've done is this initially used to be value one, which I've changed to hello, how are you, or hello my CHANNEL viewers, how are you, hope you are enjoying videos. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on save and test. So you see the execution function is getting executed here, and you see that execution succeeded. So if I click on details, right, I see the output of the code over here. Hello my channel viewers, how are you, hope you are enjoying enjoying the videos. Okay, so that's one. Then the summary says the things about the code. Okay, so it shows us the SHA2 of our code, then the duration for which our code ran, which is 0.21 millisecond, and it is built in 100 millisecond multiples, I guess. Then the resources which I consumed was 128 MB, and the maximum memory which got utilized was just 19 MB for that. Okay, and what do I see in the log output? I see the request ID, I see the value of 1. Remember, this is the value which we entered there. Then end of request ID, the build, the duration. Those are things which gets populated out here. Then if I were to go into monitoring, you see the second spike up here right now, because that's the code which I just now ran, right? So if I keep on hitting test, okay, test it one more time, 2, 3, I'm running it, okay, 4, 5, 6. I can keep doing like this a million times, then it will start charging me money. And the amount which it charges is also very negligible, that it's going to be very difficult for it to rack up any kind of a bill for me. Okay, I've done so many times. Let's try to refresh this. You see this thing, it piped up, so it has, the code has run for around like 7 times for me. And I did manage to get an error. So if you screw up the code over here, right, and save it, you'll definitely end up with getting an error. So the way in which I screwed it up was, I introduced with a capital K over here. The key started with a capital K. When I saved it, you'll see how the error occurs. See, it's executing and it failed, right? So phase, and this is what the error shows you, basically shows you. Then you have to you see the key error, the error is present here, so you need to go through the code slowly, trying to see what has happened, because this is case sensitive. And if I were to continuously run this, if I were to go inside monitoring, right, you should see this spike in error. So let's error 3 or 4 times, error, 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 give me one more. Yeah, so let's try refreshing this. It usually takes some time. You saw that go up one more time, right? So there is one more place where this particular thing gets logged on to. So when Lambda gets created, right? So you remember we created. So let me go here, okay, to show that. I have clicked this and click on dashboard to show you the function. For some reason, it's not showing me the function, or I'm not clicking on the correct place. So let me click on the IAM rule. IAM. So IAM is nothing but identity access management. So in this, I can see that there is one role which just now got created because of the thing which I created for Lambda. So you remember the Lambda basic execution which I created there? That's what has created the role over here. So this role allows that particular Lambda function which I have created to just execute alone. And if I were to again go back into CloudWatch, right? CloudWatch would maintain logs. Yeah, you see these logs? So CloudWatch is maintaining all the logs which gets generated over there. So every time the code gets run, you see the output over here as well. So there is some more over here. So this is probably the error logs, right? So that's almost about it, folks. So now let's see how we can delete this. So let me click on Lambda once again, try to see if I can get the thing up there. Yeah, now it is here. So it took some time for it to populate here. So when I click on this, so this is how you deal. So they are not going to charge us for leaving the Python code out here, but just for good sake, like we should have everything deleted and cleaned up before we leave the place, right? So I'm going to delete that particular function. It says that even though this is deleted, the logs and the role will not be deleted. And it's asking, are you sure you still want to delete it? I'll say, yeah, go ahead and delete it. So once this deletion is done, so it says that it's deleted successfully. Let me refresh it here. For some reason, my mouse pointer is stuck. Yeah, that's deleted now, right? So you would see that under IAM rule, identity access management, that role is still present. So I have to go inside there, click on this particular thing and delete that role and say yes, delete it please. So now that it's deleted, I can click dashboard to see that that role is gone. But there is one more thing which I need to do is go into CloudWatch and clear off the logs from there. There is no reason whatsoever that the logs be present there, right? So click on logs there, click on that particular thing over there, go to actions and say delete log group. I'm going to delete that particular log group. Now everything is done. We are back to square one. But the thing is, we have little bit of knowledge as to how Lambda works. So Lambda is serverless. You need not provision an EC2 server for your code to run. It's just that you need to write your code, upload it onto Amazon EC2, and get your code up and running there. And it's going to be really cheap for you to run the code up there. So thanks a lot for watching this video. If you have any comments, please post them down on the comment section. That's it. Bye bye folks.